another episode of Trust a Skinny Chef. Today I'm going to be making my famous lasagna. As you can see, I was just at the store, got everything that we need to, cook on our show today. First of all, we don't put this in the lasagna, but you need a good Italian bread. And you can get this anywhere, like Pick and Save or whatever. Let me take my gloves off here to get ready to start. We're going to be using a little Romano cheese. We'll put that on at the end. Of course, we need our mozzarella. We're going to put in there. This is not a skinny dish by any means whatsoever, but it's fabulous. It's the dish that people ask me to make over and over and over again. And when we finish, I think you'll see why, and when you try it, you'll know why. We're going to be using some lean ground beef as well. And of course, we got to have the lasagna noodles. That's very important. And I got a little more mozzarella here. So, and one other thing that I didn't have to go to the store for, I have it right here. We're definitely going to use my Johnsonville's hot sausage. I'm telling you that this is what makes the dish. So this is a dish. This is a lasagna for meat eaters and for people who just love cheese and meat and a good dish anytime in the winter. And as you can see, it's a little chilly out. It's kind of damp. It's rainy. This Wisconsin weather, you never know what it's going to bring us. But I am not out of cheer. So here I've got my little cheery display that I learned how to make, simple, easy, on the Food Channel. Okay, we're going to just set that aside right now so that I can start cooking. So, let me take my clothes off, or not my clothes off, excuse me. Let me take my coat off and my hat, and I'll be back in a few. All right. I've got my apron here, and on my show that we always wear an apron. I don't know why that is. This is my Mamma Mia apron. So it works out actually perfect for this show here. And after we put the apron on, you know the routine. We wash our hands. So I'll be right back. Okay, my hands are cleared up and getting ready to, the dog is barking again. Dogs, we're back at my house again, and dogs, like I said, will be dogs. Okay, the first thing that we want to do is get our meat going here. And so we're going to start with some lean ground beef, which is important. And I'm going to get my oven going here a little bit. Turn that on. Got it on the front, and I'm going to use, again, a large non-stick pan. It's just easier that way, then the meat doesn't get stuck in the pan and stuff like this. So we're going to start by putting some of our ground beef in the pan like this. I think I'll do it over here so that everyone can see what I'm doing. And we're going to break that up a little bit. And I'm saying that we're probably using, this is probably about, what do I think this is here? This looks to be about, looks like it's about 2 pounds. So we're probably going to use about a half of this. I'm just going to fill the bottom of this large pan here that I have with the ground beef, because we're also going to be adding some sausage to it. So that's going to be important. Now I'm going to leave a little space here, okay, to do just that. All right, we've got the ground beef in. That looks like plenty, just about that much there. And we're going to put that on the stove and get that going. And we'll wrap this up and be using this for another time when I decide that I want to make some meatballs maybe, Because I am an Italian cook, basically. I mean, I just love to cook Italian food. I love the taste of Italian food. Although I do have to tell you that I do not frequent Italian restaurants, because I can really find restaurants that I think compare to my own Italian cooking. And I know that sounds kind of conceited or whatever it might be, but that's the way it goes. Now basically what I'm going to do with this Italian sausage is, Italian sausage comes in a very thin sleeve. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to actually squeeze it right out of the sleeve. You don't want to know what the sleeve is made of, because then you might not ever eat an Italian sausage again. But I'm going to squeeze it right out. You can see me over here. I'm going to squeeze it right out of the sleeve here and get that mixed in with the beef. Okay? And we got about 5 of these that we're going to do this with, so I'll do it as quickly as I possibly can. But make sure that your Italian sausage is defrosted and, you know, it's easier to squeeze that way. You don't want it hard in any way whatsoever. You just squeeze that right out of the sleeve. Empty that sleeve out. There we go. See, that's what that looks like. It's kind of disgusting if you ask me. But, you know, there's a lot of disgusting things about meat. You know, when you think about it, you know, chicken is really, can be very disgusting until it's cooked. It's, you know, it's kind of slimy and, you know, and also we know that it can be dangerous to us, and that's why we make sure that we wash our hands and we wash the board and all those sorts of things. Okay, so we got all of our meat in here now for the lasagna, and it's already smelling good. Okay, and I'm going to take this and get this in the garbage right away because, you know, I have dogs. Alright, I'm going to get a little fork out here because sometimes, you know, a fork is actually the best way to get this all kind of mushed up, chopped up. And I know the pan is going, but you don't have to worry about it being too hot. Not yet. Okay, and we're going to mix this in really nice with the ground beef. And we kind of want like an equal, like 50-50 burger, you know, hamburger, and 50-50 sausage. And because that sausage is what really makes the flavor in lasagna. I'll tell you right now. You know, you're catching me right at the start here of, I don't know, but it's around that Christmas time, and I'm thinking I'm going to be getting a cold pretty soon. So this is going to be like the last great meal I think that I'm going to be making for a while. I know it's too bad. Okay, so you just kind of mix that all up and we'll let it cook a little bit right now. Okay, and while we're doing that, the next thing that we want to do is we want to get our noodles going. So we're going to get a big pan over here. Actually, I think I'm going to use this one down here. It's bigger. I'm going to get this big pan here, and I'm going to fill this up with water. I'll be back in a second. Pan of water here that I'm going to put on the stove, and I'm going to get that on high because we want to get that going. Oop, that's the front. That's me. You know, I don't know. That's the front. Okay, and then always, always, always you want to salt your pasta water because that's really where the flavor is coming from, and it's really where the only flavor is coming from. So we're going to salt that up really good. That's good. Nama, 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 nama. Okay, and for some dishes you actually use that salted pasta water, but for this one we're not going to need it. Alright, now the next thing that we got here are the lasagna noodles. And you know, with a pot that size, you almost have to cook them in shifts. But you're not going to need this whole box, I've discovered, after years and years and years of making lasagna. So we're going to set that aside. Oh, time out. Someone's here. Alright, looks like it was just the mailman. You know, I know, what I need to do is maybe kennel these dogs, you know, when it's time to do the show. But, you know, that's a little stressful on them and also on me. Okay, I'm back over here now, and I'm going to be, oh, it's starting to get really, oh, see, this is where, hopefully you can hear it. You might be able to hear it. Now, what I have going in the microwave here is I actually have some pre-made sauce that I made, and I might tell you a little bit about how I make the sauce. It's the simplest recipe, I think, that's around, but everybody loves my sauce, and it's so, like, if I knew anybody in marketing or whatever, you know, in a store or whatever, I would say to you, you taste this sauce, you can this sauce, and you are going to have a billion-dollar business along with me. Yeah, and it's as simple as can be. So maybe I shouldn't give the secret away. Maybe I shouldn't give the secret away, but what good is lasagna without good sauce? Okay, so basically what I do is I use Hunt's tomato sauce, and for the lasagna that I'm making now, I use about 3 of the large cans of Hunt's, and then a large can of the Contandina paste. And I put that all in a pot, And then I would add about 3/4 of one of the large cans of the Hunt's tomato sauce into the tomatoes. I put that in there. And then I would take my basil and I would cover the top of the sauce with basil. I would cover the top of the pot with oregano. I would take some of the jarred garlic, probably about 2 tablespoons, drop that in, and a little bit of a palmful of fennel. And then the secret is to take a couple of hot Italian sausages, poke them up, and drop those in the sauce, and let that cook. And a lot of the flavor from the Italian sausage goes into that sauce, and that's what really makes it fabulous. So there's my secret to my sauce. There, you're watching the show. And you can put green pepper in there if you want. You can put mushrooms. I mean, you can put whatever you want in the sauce. But for my lasagna that I'm making here, I like to have it, because there's enough of the flavors of other things in it that's not really necessary. Right. Okay, so now this beef is going here, and it is all cooked up. Great. It's doing a good job here. All right, and the beef and the sausage mixed together that we've got. All right, so I'm pretty much done with that. So I'm just going to turn that off right now and let that sit. Oh, and my sauce that I'm defrosting, because, the great thing about spaghetti sauce is that you can freeze it, and you can have it, whenever you want it. And that's what I do. I freeze it in large Tupperwares. Oh, this is still really frozen, so I'm going to have to stick this back in. And I'm not cooking it, I'm defrosting it in the microwave, because that's kind of important. You could also take it out after you've defrosted a little bit, put it in a saucepan, cook it up if you want to, but it's not necessary to make that kind of a mess, I guess, so to speak. Okay, so I'm going to put this on defrost again for maybe, another, I'd say 10 minutes. It's really frozen in there. But that's quite a bit of sauce. And the reason that I've got quite a bit of sauce is because not only do you put it in lasagna, but then when you're serving it, that extra sauce, putting a little extra sauce over that lasagna, because the sauce is so good, is wunderbar. With this meal, I'm also going to make a fresh salad, because I think that's important to have a good fresh salad. Okay, so this meat is simmering here. I'm waiting for the water to boil, which I probably should have done that first before I even put the meat on. Get the water boiling first, get your noodles in. But as I'm waiting for that to happen, we'll take a short break, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and I just realized that I didn't have the microphone on, but oh well, I'm sure you can hear me. There's just going to be a little bit of a sound difference here from this point on. Sorry about that. It's kind of a weird thing when I'm having to run the whole thing. I mean, I am... usually I have a cameraman. Today I don't. I set up the sound, the cameras, I edit it all, and then plus I'm cooking with people. So it gets a little hairy now and then. I don't mind it, but just once in a while I forget things and it doesn't turn out as great as it should. All right, anyway, hopefully you can hear me a little bit better now. Now, what I've been doing here is I've been putting the lasagna noodles into the pot. And sometimes you have to cook in shifts. And sometimes depending on how many pans you're going to be making, you can get it all done in one. But you just simply take your lasagna noodles and stick them in the pot, and little by little they'll start to cook down. And what you want to be careful of is you want to get them out all in one piece. I had a broken one here before. Yeah, see, you don't want to use something like this. I mean, I guess if you're desperate and you run out of noodles and this is what you have and you want to piece them together, you can do that. But otherwise, I wouldn't suggest doing that. Hang on, the dog's got to go off. Because it's kind of messy and I had to go over to the over to the sink. But I just want you to know is that what you do here with the ground beef here is, and the sausage, because the sausage makes quite a bit of grease. And so what you want to do is go over to the sink and get a can. I put it in a strainer and then kind of like strain the meat out a little bit so that you're not, putting all that grease in there. And that's how it tastes. Oh, I'm telling you. If you follow this recipe as what I'm doing, people will love you. As a matter of fact, I was over at a good friend of my house, a friend of mine here at school, Christy Kloon's house, and I made the lasagna because we always have this lasagna gathering. And her husband Dan just went nuts over it. In fact, I mean, he insisted that I give the recipe up so that his mother could make it for him over Christmas Eve. So I'm telling you, I mean, I haven't heard from him yet to know how it turned out, but my guess is that it turned out pretty well. All right, here we go. We're going to put this back over here, and let me check on the noodles here. What I'm going to do here is get my cheese open. I got an unfinished pack here that I'm going to use, but you can use, you know, the shredded mozzarella if you want, or as you notice, I also have some of the sliced mozzarella. I usually like to get it fresh from the deli, but you're not going to believe it because it is New Year's Eve day. That grocery store was packed, and I thought to myself, I am not going to stand in that line because, you know, I got to get home and get this show made and then also try to enjoy myself a little bit on this New Year's Eve, even though I am telling you, I feel like I'm coming down with something, and I'm sure hoping I'm not. I'm sure hoping I can beat it. I took a little bit of that Airborne, which was invented by a teacher, and they say that this Airborne stuff is really supposed to, you know, knock the cold out of you before it starts. Well, we'll see if that's true or not. Okay, so I've got some this mozzarella here ready to go, and then I'm going to open this because I like to put the slices on the top. It makes it look really nice. You know, oh, geez, I cut that the wrong way. Oh, well, that's not unusual for me, yeah. Okay, and as we're getting older, you know, our sight's not any better, and I guess I didn't see that dotted line there that said peel here. All right, that's all right. Basically what you do is, you know, I'm going to put this on the top because it makes it look so good, but right now I'm going to sample a little bit, and that is good cheese. Okay, and the wiener dog would like some too, so there's one for the wiener dog. Oh, there's the other wiener dog. You know, the big wiener dog steals from the little wiener dog. It's just not fair. All right, now everybody's got theirs. All right, I'm going to put that over here. Let me get back over to the noodles here. Make sure that they're not. 1 second here. We got another dog that wants to come in. Now this dog is the dog of the camera person who is here for the second half of the show. That's how I got my mic on. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. You know, I was thinking about this, and no offense to you, camera person, but you know, it's kind of like weird how I cannot get my camera people to show up on time, other than when I'm using Chris Meisner at school. You know, when I do the kids, we got people on time. When not, you know, things go array. All right, here we go. We are ready to go. We are ready to rock and roll with this lasagna now. I've got a pan here, and I've got my pre-made sauce here that I did a while ago. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this off, and one by one I'm going to be taking, or well, maybe not one by one, but I'm going to try to be getting these. Whoa, they're slipping. Whoa, that's not good. Okay, maybe I should go one by one. I'm going to take these lasagna noodles out, and I'm going to lay them in the bottom of the pan. Okay? You know what I forgot here? I am going to do a little non-stick just in case, even though it's a glass pan. You know, there's nothing worse than things sticking to the bottom of the pan. So a little bit of that. There we go. Okay. So, oh, looks like I got 2 at a time here. Woo! Lost that one. Hopefully we've got an extra one because that ripped, and I don't want to use a ripped one. All right, so we're going to lay this in. This is a little bit tender on the fingers here. Yeah, bring that over. Okay, lay that out nice. And we're going to get one more on the bottom here. Alrighty, there we go. That's 4. We probably could get away with 3, but I'm going to put 4 on the bottom here and overlap them a little bit. Okay, good. Now, the next thing that we do is we want to get a little ladle here, and we're going to ladle out some sauce. And we'll put a layer of sauce on, like so, and see, you can see the thickness of the sauce. And actually, You know, if you could see close, you can actually see the garlic in this sauce. And I'm telling you, I think that that's part of what makes it so good too. Okay, so we put a nice thick layer of sauce on. You know, be generous with the sauce because sauce is cheap. It's a cheap thing to do. Okay, now the next thing that I want to do is get a little layer of, I'll start with the one that's already been opened here. Now there's my extra sauce that's going, and oh my goodness, here we go. We got a phone call, so I'll be back in a minute. Interruption after interruption. Hey, excuse the interruption, we're back again. And what was I doing? I was putting the cheese on. Yeah, you know, it's a busy house, and that's, what are you going to say? What are you going to do? You know what I mean? I know they don't do this on those shows, but, you know, we're not a huge syndicated show. This is family stuff, and so this is the kind of thing that happens. Cleo, you need to be quiet. Quit, Cleo. Cleo doesn't really listen to me very much, but she's my baby, little baby wiener dog. Okay, so you want to also be generous with the cheese because, you know, you eat this maybe a couple times a year, and so you might as well, you know, dig in and enjoy. That's what I say. All right, so here we go. I'm going to just cut open this ricotta cheese here and rip the top open. And what I do here with this is, you know, you want to get it a little bit gushed up and mixed up. But I just take it as though almost like you're making like cookie dough here, you see? And I put like 3 little dabs, and I kind of go around the lasagna thinking about the size of everybody's piece, making sure that they all get some of the ricotta cheese in there. And then that ricotta cheese, or ricotta cheese, I don't know, depending on how you want to say it, is going to eventually, you know, it'll melt. It'll melt in there real nice and mix in nice. So that's good. That's good. This is where things start to get a little messy. Now, we got that, and now the next thing that we want to do is we're going to take some of our meat, and we're going to sprinkle that around. And it's really important that you don't forget, you know, a layer while you're working here. And also that, you know, as the Italians say, mangia, mangia, eat, eat. You know, you want to be generous and make sure that, you know, things are spread out nicely and everybody's getting their share, so to speak, you know. Now, the Italians, you know, you think that the Italians are heavy-set people, but, you know, really, they're not. And I think part of it is because, you know, they eat and they drink their wine together. They don't just sit and drink and drink and drink. You know, they just do it together, and they enjoy their food. They take their time eating their food, and it's not something that, you know, is a constant thing with them. But when they do sit down, they sit down and they enjoy. All right, so it's a family gathering kind of thing, basically, is what it is. There we go. We're going to lay this across the top. And it looks like this one's going to require 4 too. Maybe this is a bigger pan than I'm used to using. I don't know. Kind of strange. Okay, it's a little hot, but okay, we got the noodles. There we go. And then basically what you do is you do another layer in the, you know, pretty much the same order. It really, I guess the order doesn't matter all that much. We're going to layer on some sauce here with our ladle. And seriously, this is just a delicious meal. I remember when we were little kids, my mom and all of her sisters would get together, and she comes from a pretty big family. There were 4 girls and 3 guys, 3 uncles. And we would go to my rich Uncle Louis's house, and we would have pans and pans and pans of lasagna would be made and ready for everybody to go. Okay, next we're going to go, and because I had like, you know, 24 cousins, I think it was. Yeah, so that's when families were really big. And lasagna, you know, goes a long way. It goes a long way. And it's just, it's good. And really, most everything in it is nutritious. I'm not going to say it's not at all fattening, because I would be, you know, a liar if I said that. Some people make it low-cal. They make it, you know, vegetarian style, whatever. But, you know, and that's okay too. I mean, that's whatever your choice is. But I figure you're going to eat lasagna once a year. I say, you know, you eat big and you enjoy. You enjoy. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with enjoying food every once in a while. You know, I mean, it's just not something, we're going to put the ricotta on again now, it's just not something that you would eat every day, obviously. Okay, and you go through, and you know, you're just kind of like doing like, you know, like any kind of layer casserole, basically, that you make. Lasagna, I guess you could consider a casserole. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you, that phone just won't stop ringing. So, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I just let that one go and listen to the message, and it's no big deal. You know, it is New Year's Eve, and I'm thinking that that's why people are making all these phone calls. All right, here I am. I'm doing my cooking show on New Year's Eve. That tells you what kind of life I have, right? All right. Although the phone has been ringing a lot, so let's keep that in mind, too. Oh. Did we put the meat on? I don't think so. Here, I'm ready to do that. See, I lose my train of thought. We got the cheeses on, and we got one more layer of meat here. I was going to say there's an awful lot of leftover meat otherwise, which, you know, the dogs are just chomping at the bit over here. Look, staring at me, waiting for me just to drop a little morsel. I suppose I could drop a morsel or two. There we go. All right, we got to get the little one. See, the little one always, she loses out. That's better for her waistline, I suppose. All right, so, and I'm going to finish up this meat because, boy, I don't like having leftovers, really, of stuff, you know, when I'm making it. I'm going to pat that down real nice, get the spots that I missed, but I'm telling you, that meat turned out to be exactly what I needed. Yep, it sure did. Okay, I'm saving a piece for the cook. Because that's one thing. When you're cooking, you should at least get to enjoy, you know, the best part of cooking, and that's tasting it while you cook it. Okay, here's another. See, I lost a piece of that noodle. I hate that when that happens. I don't know, maybe here we go. Let's pull this out and roll it out this way. Woohoo! That is some hot stuff, let me tell you. Okay? And I think I cooked just enough of the noodles here too. Perfect. Okay. So this is basically what your finished lasagna ends up looking like. And then, of course, and I've got more sauce in the microwave, but I'm going to end this here. I'll put some more on later. But you top it off with the sauce, like so. And then, before you put it in the oven, you want to set your oven to 350. And then you want to put, I'll just give you a sample of this. You just want to put, you know, a couple slabs. You want to slab your cheese on like this nice. You see? Put a couple of those on. Across the top to make it look nice. And then, I could put 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, 4 more. And then you put it in your oven at 350. I would take like a little bit of Reynolds wrap, put it over the top so the cheese doesn't burn. And let this bake for about 45 minutes. And voila. And here's one bit of advice for Italian food. You cook this for about a half an hour. You make it the day before you're going to serve it, or a couple days before you're going to serve it. Cook it for a half an hour. Put it in your fridge. And then when it comes time to, you know, serving it, or the next day, make sure it's like a day at least, because the sauce always tastes better a day late. Now this sauce is going to be fine because it actually was made earlier. And then you, you know, put it back in the oven for about 40 minutes. Make sure it's heated through, and you serve it. And I'm telling you, your guests are going to be dying for the recipe. So, like I said, I'm going to serve this. I'm going to serve it with a little salad, maybe a little bitty dessert, glass of wine, because wine is important with this. And I'm telling you, it is a dish to die for. So, I hope you enjoyed the show, and we will catch you again next week when I'm bringing on another special guest. And so, you take care and enjoy the new year, and I'll see you in 2007.